Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Dave.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. Welcome back to another week of magical chatter from the Main Street Electrical Podcast. I am Dave, and this is my wonderful co-host, Jen. Jen, I got to ask you, well, top of the show, we always ask about Disney, but first, I want to ask you about your birthday. How was the birthday?
It was good. It was a blast. We really enjoyed our time. It was a good weekend away.
Good.
I'm still a little tired, but that's okay.
Well, it's because your schedule is insane. It's just one thing. You walk in, you basically drop your suitcase, you change out luggage, and you go back. Yeah, I mean, you should have suitcases packed for the next several trips. You can just walk in the door, drop one case, grab the other, and just
I don't have no suitcases. That's the problem.
Have somebody come in, clean the luggage, and that way they can repack it, and you just switch out the luggage every time you come through. So, but Jen, how did you Disney this week? That's the question now.
Oh gosh, this week, you know what? This is my cop out one, but I use this cute little thing every day. It is my little coaster.
Oh, I've seen that little cute coaster. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been using that guy all day. Obviously, I had to move my coffee mug off of it.
No, what's on that coaster? It's kind of fuzzy. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, we've got Dumbo.
Okay, that's the Fantasyland one. Okay.
Fantasyland, yeah. And yes. The White Rabbit in the teacups. Snow White. Okay, and then the orange car. I'm gonna keep it hidden because it's Donald, but Donald has been decapitated.
Oh no!
By a coffee mug.
What you do to? Oh no! Yeah, not
I can
good.
fix him. I can fix him. I just
not
need some
good.
glue.
He found life on a coaster. Not all it was quacked up to be. Oh. So every week or so, I will. My kid and I go on Saturday afternoon errands, and I've sent you Marco Polo videos from the car Saturday afternoon. Going, hey Jen, here's Campbell in the back seat. One of the places we go to is a local bookstore, and that bookstore has like CDs and DVDs and things like that. We always look. Well, this past Monday, I was without child as my wife Steph and the kid were up at her parents' house, and I had the afternoon free, so I went to the bookstore, had plenty of time to look on my own, and I found this little gem here. Mary Poppins, the official soundtrack, remastered original motion picture soundtrack on CD for like $4. It's got the score, it's got all the songs, and at the end of it, it's got unreleased demos from the Sherman brothers of Shim Shim Cherie,
nice.
Let's Go Fly a Kite, The Eyes of Love, and Feed the Birds. And I have not listened to this yet. I do have a CD player. I have not listened to this yet. I'm looking forward to popping this in. However, this will kind of lead to our next little thing. I have been listening to this little guy, the Sherman Brothers Songbook, which is 2 discs. Yes. There are 59 songs on this thing from the Sherman Brothers. Everything from the easy stuff like, the Aristocats and Shim Shim Cherie, Spoonful of Sugar, to stuff that maybe you forgot about. Tall Paul from the Annette Funicello record stuff.
Okay.
Music from The Parent Trap, the Flubber song, Heffalumps and Woozles. They wrote that. Heffalumps and Woozles. The Wonderful Thing About Tigger. They wrote that. The music from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which of course is not necessarily Disney.
Love Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
I've never seen that movie. That one's a bit out of the
I love that. Is like a childhood favorite.
So Jungle Book, I Want to Be Like You. They wrote that one. It's crazy.
Like
and it's important to note that because now we have lost both of the Sherman brothers. Richard Sherman passed away this week at the age of, I believe, 95. Passed away and I think they said something like age-related illnesses. I'm like, he was 95. That's why
he was 95.
It's, long life and everything. Just incredible artist. Of course, his brother passed away in 2012.
Yeah.
And I just it's one of those. I kind of did a deep dive on some of the music, and like I said, this is a CD called the Sherman Brothers Songbook, and it is just incredible, but just full of the music, and a lot of it is music you hear and you go, wait, they wrote that? Holy crap!
Right?
I didn't know that, and just stuff that, like, it's so impactful in our lives because supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I mean, that's just the song that you and I have known since we were like embryos. We've known this song.
Yeah, right. Literally.
And we've grown up with this music, and this is just stuff that's going to last forever.
Yeah.
And of course they were portrayed by Jason Schwartzman and BJ Novak in the Saving Mr. Banks movie. Wonderfully portrayed, by the way.
Oh yeah, they did a great job.
When they did Let's Go Fly a Kite, that whole scene there where they're all singing and dancing, it's just great stuff. So anyway, so props to Richard. We've talked about doing a a Sherman Brothers kind of episode, kind of a themed on them. I think we're going to
Yeah.
try to do that in a couple of weeks because I'd love to kind of go more in depth into their story,
Yeah.
talk about their music. Maybe you can give some of your favorites
Sure.
out of the hundreds of songs they've done, and so
Hundreds.
hundreds of I think they did music for over something like several dozen like TVs and movies and stuff like that. Over 200 songs to their credit that were published and recorded and stuff. It's just it's insane. It's insane the amount of stuff they did. So there's that. Let's get to some news. Fantasmic has returned. It returned actually last week, and it's back now. Returning on May 24th and the beginning of Memorial Day weekend, the start of the summer. And so Peter Pan is coming back now, replacing the iconic Pirates of the Caribbean sequence, which was previously in the Fantasmic show as well. It's gonna be a cool show. I've never seen the show. I haven't seen the show in like 10 years since when I was there, it wasn't there, or I couldn't see it or whatever. But it's coming back, and of course, it's got a 35-foot high Maleficent that's going to be rising up from the water, and it's just going to look cool. And I don't know the differences in that Fantasmic and the one we have in Hollywood. The shows are very similar, but at the same time, I'm like, I just like Disneyland's better. I don't know what
better.
it is.
It's better.
A better show.
Yeah, and that like the whole thing around the lagoon, the Peter Pan scene, like it's really neat. It's really cool.
Right. Also, over here at Disney Springs, the drone show has now appeared. Disney Dreams That Soar, which features something like 800 drones flying high through the sky, forming images from Coco and from Big Hero 6. There's the Guardian ship, and just a cool image. Now, I've seen the show kind of online. It looks incredible. It looks fantastic. I also saw pictures of the crowds. Did you see these pictures of the crowds? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
That was
it looks insane.
Whoa. I mean, I cannot wait to see it like this summer, but later.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, I've been talking about taking my kid to see down to Disney World. Can't talk today. Down to Disney World, and coming over maybe this summer, we'll just see what happens. But one of the things I wanted to do was to go see the show, and I'm not sure I'm going to do that because it was just wall to wall packed people, and there was reports of people that couldn't move. They were just kind of crammed into the sidewalks because
I mean, I don't know if that's because it was like opening night. You know what I mean?
It was opening
like
night.
that was opening night. So
that is going to be there. There's a lot to that.
Yeah.
And also, I did think about it too that you kind of have to see it from a certain side because it's not 3-dimensional.
Oh, right.
They're kind of doing one screen.
Flat.
So it's not. It's like watching a movie from the side. It's like you're seeing kind of a side image there. So that is something to be aware of. I've heard that the line parking garage being on the roof of that is actually a great place to watch it.
Oh, interesting.
Be on the top part of the line parking garage, and then you get in your car and you leave.
Except you wait in the line.
Well, that's true, but you're already at your car, so that helps.
That's true.
I am wondering how it's going to look from maybe the top of the Coke store. Very, very top floor, drinking a Coke float, having a drink, whatever, watching it from there. I don't really know. I don't know what obstructs it in terms of like, can you see over the tethered balloon? Is it in the way? Is everything so high? Does it matter? I don't know, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. I believe our Moana mom, aka Heather,
she went.
Heather has seen it. Do you know how? Did she like it? Has she?
She really, she loved it. Yeah.
Good.
I know she said there was a lot of crowds though, but I didn't get like a full debrief from her yet.
Right.
Because it was just a busy week. So. Yeah.
Right. Well, opening June 10th, and you're going to see some of this, Jen. The walls of Epcot will, of course, be down. We broke that news. We didn't really break it, but it's coming. The news is out there that June 10th is the opening date of Communicore, amongst other things as well. And Communicore is going to be containing concert stages and like festival halls. It's going to be like the new festival hall and such. So all the festival stuff, a lot of the main festival stuff will be there. There'll be gathering spaces. There will be the new Mickey and Friends meet and greet is also going to be there as well.
Yes,
Disney released video with Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy. I'm sure Pluto, Chip and Dale, and Donald will all show up there as well. So that'll be the wonderful place to meet Mickey and Friends. The lights in the Unicorn building, of course, have been shining around. They look all cool and stuff. And I'm looking forward to your take on that because you'll be there in like a week or two. So
I'm very excited. Literally, we finished up our agency conference. I fly out the next morning. I am there for like 36 hours before I fly back home and then flip around and fly to Rome. So it's going to be.
That's the way to do it. That's the best way to do it. Yeah. So, finally, as we mentioned last week, just to confirm the date, Rock and Roller Coaster opening on June 27th. And apparently they did not listen to last week's episode because they didn't make any changes to it. Everything is still the same. Aerosmith is still there.
Yep.
Doing all the Aerosmithy stuff. Steven Tyler loves that idea, and so yes, June 27th. July 27th. July 27th is when it opens. So yeah, final bit of news here, and this is not really news. It's kind of been a hot topic online, and we're not going to go very far into this because I'm
Right.
not going to start a firestorm. That, of course, is the Disability Access Service, the Disability Access System for Disney. That is the DAS Pass. It's basically a way that those who are, by definition, those who are unable to wait in line,
Yes.
can get a pass to where you don't have to wait in the line. You
Mm-hmm.
still have to wait the length of time it takes to be in the line,
Right.
just not in the line. And one thing, and we mentioned this several weeks ago, but one thing I want to make sure, the old system, new system, whatever, to understand, make sure people understand, it is not a front of the line pass.
No.
You don't get that pass and
No.
suddenly you're in front of the line. If it says hour
Mm-mm.
wait and it's 9 o'clock in the morning, you now have to come back at 10 o'clock or
10
after.
o'clock. Yeah.
Then
Mhm.
go through the lightning lane line. So many times you're waiting longer
Yes.
for this ride than people in the line. You just don't have to do in the line itself. And this is something that my family has used for a very long time with our son Campbell. They have made some changes to it. We're not going to go real in depth in the changes. They've kind of redefined some definitions, redefined maybe who gets this pass. There have been a lot of controversy on should this person get it, should that person get it.
Mhm.
All I'm going to say is, all you can do is talk to Disney.
Yeah.
If you are upset about the way it works, email Disney, contact whom. They do listen to their people. They do listen to their guests. So that's all I'm going to say about that. We're not going to dive into it real deep. I haven't used the new system yet. I will say that my
it's so
son,
new. I mean,
it's very new. I mean, it's
very, very new.
The concept is the same, but a lot of the restrictions are different. A lot of the laws are different. The policies are different. Our son does have autism, so it is described in the definition of people that would be qualified for it. So, I don't know. We'll try it. We'll see what happens. And yes, that's all I'm gonna say about that. So stepping away from the DAS Pass topic. So I want to dive into Dominican Republic now, Jen, because you and our good agent, third co-host, Kyla, was there last week.
Yes.
And this is not the first time you've been there. You've been there a couple of times. And so, first of all, where did you go and why did you go?
Well, so in addition to being an agency that loves Disney destinations, which obviously we do, we talk about Disney like basically daily. We also do other destinations and a lot of all-inclusives, Europe, and one of the suppliers we use is ALG Vacations.
Okay.
One of our favorite suppliers, and we have a great relationship with them. So we actually went down for kind of like an honor ceremony, so to speak. It was our Emerald Elite Retreat, which is an honor to go. So Agent Kyla came with me, and we spent some time at the brand new Secrets Tides, which Secrets is one of my favorite all-inclusive brands. But I will say they're not all the same. Like not everything, like each one is individually owned. So I always kind of wait to see, do I like this one? But in general, I love the brand, and there are very few I don't like. So I'm pleased to say that this was wonderful experience. Really enjoyed the resort. If you're watching on YouTube, it's behind me.
Nice. So where else do Secrets have resorts? If somebody was looking to the Secrets brand, where else in the area, Caribbean, whatever, do they have resorts?
Yeah, the main ones would be Mexico, Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, and Jamaica.
Okay.
Would be
now, are they adults
ones.
only? Are they families or
Secrets
all-inclusives?
That is an all-inclusive brand. It is adults only. It is luxury included. So they also have two different levels. So there's your regular level, and then there's your preferred club level. Preferred club does have a butler, which is wonderful. And now I will say it's different than like a Sandals butler, right? It's not like, a dedicated butler, but the butler is servicing only, a couple of rooms. So you're sharing him, but he was reaching out literally daily. Hello, Miss Jennifer. How was your morning? Is there anything I can do? Very wonderful. The service was great. So we were in preferred club, had a beautiful view. And the amenities were great. The room was great. I was pleased because in certain of the secrets, as in the Sandals that we experienced the other day, the showers, they're not open, but like might be glass only. This one had a door that you could shut across the glass, so you could open it up. We actually have a funny video. Kyla was in her swimsuit, got into the shower in the swimsuit, and we pulled back the door and did a funny video, which I don't think we ever posted because
That's funny. Well, I've noticed that some resorts are like that. Sandals was like
Yeah.
that, and
Hmm.
when Steph went on an all inclusive, I think maybe a year or two ago with a girlfriend of hers,
Hmm.
the showers were like that. Like you could stand in the kind of the front of the room and
Yeah.
look straight through the entire room
Yeah.
into the shower.
Uh-huh.
And so they kind of had to do some maneuvering where they could shower in
Yeah.
private and that kind of thing. So
Hmm.
it is worth it, asking maybe your
Like
travel
if you're
agent,
going with
hey, can I see?
girlfriends, I mean, if you're with your
Exactly.
significant other, yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. But yeah, so it is maybe worth inquiring a little bit about what kind of shower am I going to get in these
Yeah.
rooms, and are they all like that? Now, are all the showers like that, or are
It
they
just depends on the resort. But I mean,
okay?
like I said, for us, there was a door that
Right.
closed, so it wasn't a
That
big
works.
deal. So
That
yeah,
works. Very
easy
good.
peasy.
Good, good, good. So let's talk. I want to talk a little bit about Dominican, though. I've never been. Punta
Okay.
Cana, I've heard is beautiful.
It is.
What makes Dominican special? Why go to Dominican Republic? I mean, what do you love about why do you enjoy going?
I mean, I would say, I mean, because Mexico's great too. It's a
Hmm.
different destination. It's something different. So maybe you've
Right.
been to Mexico, right? And you're like,
Right.
oh, I've done Cancun. Okay, I've done this. I've done that. I liked that a lot of the beaches are really nice. We were in the northern part, Uvero
Hmm.
Alto area, which I probably just butchered how to say that because I don't really speak Spanish. I speak French,
Right.
but that's okay. We were up there and the seaweed was not bad, which I mean, if you don't know, in Mexico, I should specify Cancun area.
Hmm.
Certain parts of Cancun, a lot of the Caribbean can get seaweed on the beach. There's nothing you can
Right.
do about it, right? Natural phenomenon. It'll be there one day and it's called sargassum. It might be gone the next day, but certain areas are more prone than others. This place is in an area that's not as prone, which is
Right.
nice. So the beach was fairly clear. It was very swimmable. We were out there. There was a riptide. We had to be a little careful because there was a riptide, which again,
Hmm.
natural phenomenon, can't do anything about it. Just kind of, you just deal with it. Um, but I would say the Dominican people are so friendly. It is a newer tourist destination. Okay,
Hmm.
Mexico has been a tourist destination for actual
Right.
decades.
Right.
The Dominican Republic really has been up and coming. I would say, especially in the past 10 years and really recently, just kind of building and like fleshing out what they have. And they have a lot of great beachfront property. And I tell you what, people have been loving it and wanting to go back. And they're really stepping up their game when it comes to their all-inclusive properties.
Well, I imagine tourism dollars are flowing in, and now they're
Well,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, like this
Hmm.
tourism money is good," and so
Right.
let's make
It's
this work. Let's make this happen. So,
yeah.
it's something I'm still working on getting myself
Hmm.
familiar with. Obviously, is the layout of the Caribbean because you have
Sure.
Cuba, and then the island kind of directly to the west, to the east of it is Haiti and Dominican
Hmm.
Republic.
Yes.
Now,
Hmm.
I'm assuming safety. You felt safe the entire time you were there. I mean, was there ever
Hmm.
with a caveat that no matter where you are, whether it's Dominican Republic or Washington D.C., you're not going to go walking around downtown at 2 a.m. by yourself. It's just, I mean, you have to be sensible.
Yeah.
But
I,
people will
I,
ask me, what about safety?
yeah.
Are you cool there?
I felt totally fine. I mean,
Good.
I flew right into the Punta Cana airport,
Hmm.
which they have actually. There was a newer. I was in the newer section. It's funny. Kyla flew into the older section. I flew into the newer section because there's a couple terminals. Um, and it was super smooth experience.
Hmm.
Got right through. Got right to my transfer, and of course, you know, when I had transfers arranged, that's what we do for our clients so
Right.
that our clients can walk right to, they're escorted to their transfer is taking them right to their resort. And, always exercise caution, right? Always be
Hmm.
aware of your surroundings.
Yes.
You don't give up your passport, right? You're always smart with those things. Um, where I stayed on resort, if I decided to go off resort, I would have gone off with like an official excursion. Just because, then I know
Hmm.
where my surroundings are, but just as always, you be wise. But I felt once, and then I was on the resort, felt totally great. No issues whatsoever. So
Good.
it was
I think
wonderful.
that's an important thing to do, like you mentioned, in terms of safety.
Hmm.
We've heard about the horror stories about the men in Turks and Caicos. There was apparently up to 5 men over different times who were detained there because they had like ammunition in their bag. They forgot a couple of shells. They were hunters
All
or whatever.
right, 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 right.
Apparently, I think some of them have been released due to U.S.
Hmm.
relations or whatever.
Yes.
One important thing I would say, especially for the South, people where I am, a lot of hunters down here,
Yeah.
and have a separate hunting bag. Have a bag just for hunting.
Yes.
Don't use that bag for
Hmm.
travels abroad. And even if you do, always check the lining of your suitcase. If you're going to
Yeah.
another country, I did this when I went to Jamaica, just in case, kind of ran my hands around the line to make sure nothing had fall. I don't even have ammunition in my house, but just in
I was
case
gonna say,
there
do you
was
have any?
something I didn't miss, something I missed or something,
Right.
whatever that I'd lost or whatever,
Yeah.
just to make sure it's all in there. There was no tears that something would fall out of,
Mhm.
always be very aware of your bags, that nobody will
Yeah.
slip anything in your bags in the airport. And
Right.
that's really anywhere. That's what
Mhm.
you go again to Dominican or Miami or Chicago or
Exactly.
wherever. Always be aware of your
Be aware of
surroundings
your
and what's going
things.
on there.
Yep.
So,
Mhm.
it's just common sense. And let me say this too, right in the middle of the conversation. We're not shilling for secrets. We would love for you to book secrets or other resorts as well, but
Yeah.
they're not paying us to make this infomercial about secrets.
No,
Jen has
I
just
just
gone,
truly love
and
it.
so she truly loves it. That's why I'm trying to find out, because I've never been, and I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know more. Let's talk about the food in Dominican and of their own secrets.
Yes. Mhm.
And I say Dominican as a whole because I know you've been several times to that island. So I don't know if you can speak to other places on the island you've eaten or just in this
Well,
particular
I
area.
would say the food in the Dominican is one that, and I mean, I'll say this about any all inclusive, right?
Mhm.
All inclusive food is rarely food that you're like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing
Right.
steak I've ever had. Okay.
Right.
That's just in general. Let's put that out there. It's like cruise ship food. Okay.
Right.
But the Dominican traditionally has been considered not as good as food in Mexico.
Okay.
Just because, again, newer, up and coming. I had
Right.
zero complaints about the food. I think
Awesome.
the secrets brands down there have always done well, honestly, and like held up. But I was the hibachi. We had hibachi
Mhm.
one night. Oh my gosh. It was very,
That's
very
awesome.
good, which is wonderful. So it was like
Right.
sushi and hibachi. Other days we had like, barbecues and cookouts, and the food there was very solid. Like I did not go hungry. I was
Mhm.
not like, oh, I can't eat this. Like it's not that good. No, it was
Right.
actually quite good. So
How were the desserts? Now I know that's a place that Sandals could not quite muster. Like the food was great at Sandals. The desserts
the
were just
desserts
okay.
were fine.
Yeah.
Desserts
How
were
were
fine.
just fine? Okay. Yeah. We've. How was the desserts here?
I go with the same. They were
Same.
fine.
Okay.
They were fine.
Okay. I guess it's hard to get good desserts in the Caribbean.
Well,
I've only been to a few places. I can't tell you for sure, but
like Americans and Europeans, like we
Mhm.
have like a hardcore dessert culture.
Yes, very true. Very true. So,
So
excursion
yeah.
wise, what else is there to do if you're there for 7 days at Secrets and you're like, I'm a beach person, but there's a couple of days I want
Yeah.
to do some stuff. I don't want to just lay on the beach all day. What
So
is there to
like
do?
there's a monkey land plantation where you can go play with the monkeys. And
That's awesome.
yeah, then you can do like a zip line.
Right.
Zip line.
Zip line. Mhm.
And sometimes you can do them together.
Okay.
There's actually one that's monkey land plus a zip line.
Mhm.
That's really popular. Let's see, there's ATV tours. There are tours to go to Santo Domingo if you want to kind of like a historical tour. There
Right.
is Saona Island. I probably did not say that correctly. It's
Mhm.
a little bit more secluded, and you have to take a transportation, and it's like a full day excursion. But people who really want to kind of do some more snorkeling and do some more pristine beaches will often go down to Saona Island.
Right.
Yeah. So those are probably the most popular ones that we book, but there's also like catamaran, there's other
Mhm.
snorkeling. There's a lot to do. I've even seen, was it a chocolate tour? And I think there was a cigar tour as well. I don't do
Okay.
cigars, but
Right.
if you wanted to,
A lot
you
of
could,
people do. A
but a
lot
lot
of
of people
people
do.
do.
If you're a
Yeah.
cigar person, then you should do it.
So tell me about Secrets itself, the resort you were in,
Yeah.
activities, things to do on the resort itself. I know that there are the standard things, the
Yeah.
snorkeling and the paddle boating, things like that. But is there anything about Secrets that you're like, I didn't really see a lot of this anywhere else. I saw it at Secrets, and this was cool, or kind of stood out a little bit, or
Well, you know what? We saw workout classes happening, like both, outside, and they
right?
had them. So
Okay,
like there was like an aqua class happening. There were
you're
like
like couples retreat. This is great.
there was like a yoga class happening at one point. I was like, what? Starting to
Awesome.
quote it. What?
Right?
What? Also, side note, over the weekend, for my birthday,
Hmm.
we met people who can quote couples retreat with me. They were
Oh,
like, it's like one of my
that's
favorite movies. I was like, yes.
yes, Jason Bateman, Kristen Bell, one of your favorite films. Yes,
Yes.
I you talk
It's
about that
amazing.
frequently. Love it.
I do. Yeah. So it
So,
was great. I was like, we were quoting it. It was on in the background with no sound. We would just look over and do quotes. I was like,
and you're like, did we just become best friends?
it's
Yep.
like, yep. With straight up stepbrothers there. Um, So yeah, we saw like those activity classes during the day around the pool. They do have some other activities, not like crazy, because
Right.
most people are just kind of wanting to relax. But
Right.
every evening they had shows, and the performers were extremely talented. Like the one night there were performers trading off. They were doing everything from like AC/DC, Rolling Stones, like kind of classic vinyl, you know,
Right.
I'm not yelling, but like great, like
Right.
belting, like some great music. They had karaoke in the evenings. They would like dance shows. So every night was a different theme and a different sort of show. So there was stuff to do if you wanted to, or if you just kind of wanted to chill out and have, some food, you could do that too. That's what I like about Secrets. It's not like
Right.
super party. Like I don't need a super party. And of course, we were at an event. So every evening there was like a really, really cool event for us as well. But, just afterwards we'd go out and it was a great time between
Yeah,
like
pictures look great.
yeah,
Like you guys
it
have a
was so
good
much
time.
fun.
Because I know that you and Kyla both. I mean, you're not a party animal, but you do like to go out and enjoy the party,
Yeah,
enjoy the
exactly.
activities and stuff. But it's not like I'm gonna party till 4 a.m. It's
Yeah, not so
we're
much.
all like we're gonna party till 11 p.m. and then we'll look at our watches and decide, do we want to do one more? I think we're tired.
Yeah, let's go back. Yeah.
Exactly.
Kyle and I
Yeah.
like party until not quite midnight.
Party until about 9 hours before the break of dawn. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
We'll do
right.
that. So let's talk Caribbean as a whole. What are some of your favorite islands overall? I know you've been to a lot of them. I'm sure there's some you haven't been to, obviously.
That is okay. That's a challenging one. I mean, listen, the Dominican is great, and
Yes.
I will absolutely go back.
Right.
Turks, the beaches are just
Okay.
unbeatable at Turks. And honestly, the people of St. Lucia was a really, really cool island. That was a
Cool.
very, very neat island. Seeing the pitons was incredible. Now, that said, I have places I want to go that I haven't been yet.
Okay.
So like Curacao and Grenada, I am going to Curacao this summer. So I am interested to see how that's going to stack up and if that's going to like change up islands. And you know what? I do like Jamaica, but I like certain areas of Jamaica.
Right.
I don't love the Ochi area, but I do love the more like Negril area, the South Coast area. It's just personal preference. It's not because there's anything wrong with the rest of it. It's just I think the beaches are better.
Understood. Well, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll ask two questions about the islands in Caribbean. This is just overall from your experience. Best island for foodies. If you're like, ooh, I love to eat. I love the good food. Doesn't have to be dessert, but just overall.
Turks.
Turks. Okay. And best island for activities. Like I love getting out, doing things, doing different stuff. And you can include Mexico in this if you want to, but just the Caribbean as a whole. Like one day on the beach, the rest of the time
Mexico
we're doing
for sure,
stuff.
but Aruba.
Okay.
And actually, Aruba is good for foodies as well. There's some really good food in Aruba, but I would say like going off, there's a ton of different things. Aruba is an island to explore.
Right.
Versus just stay on property. Whereas, at Turks, you should still go off and explore a little bit at Turks. It's very drivable, very, easy to get around. But yeah, I would say Aruba is a really good island for like stuff to do.
Cool. Very cool. Anything else you want to throw in about Secrets, about Dominican, anything else?
I mean, I think everyone should get their passport up to date and start checking out these places because I will just say it was a very relaxing time. The hospitality was wonderful. And if it's been on your bucket list, it's a good one to check off.
And again, we're not shilling necessarily for Secrets or for Sandals or anywhere else, but these are
places
places
might not
we
be
do
a fit
send
for
people
you.
to.
Like
Exactly. We
there's
send people,
other ones. There's other great
people to the Caribbean and other places all the time.
Yeah.
So that's what we are, Honest Star Travel.
Absolutely.
Jen owns the thing, which is great. And I work for Jen and I work with Jen and all that good stuff. So yeah, you can find us, of course, at uponistartravel.com. That's the website. All the contact information is there. Jen, where can we follow you and all of these crazy upcoming travels you've got going on? Because you got a crazy summer ahead.
I do have a crazy summer ahead. You can follow me at Upon a Star Jen, or my personal Instagram is at Jen_Novotny.
Perfect. Follow me at The Magic on a Dollar. Of course, it's on Instagram. Follow me at Magic on a Dollar and Disney on a Dollar on Facebook. I'm not really going anywhere special anytime soon. Maybe to Disney. I'm not really sure. Otherwise, I'll just be around the house for the summer. But hey, you can follow my mundane life and my Disney posts that I've saved up over the last 6 months because I knew this summer would be kind of a drought of travel, and that's okay. Of course, follow us on the show. TheMSCPodcast.com is the website. You can see all the show notes there and the MSCPodcast@gmail.com. Reach out. Let us know what what you think about the show, and had several people mention last week's episode. They really liked the episode about the Guardians of the playlist. Shout out to Agent Jamie,
Whoop, whoop.
who I totally forgot to mention last week. She probably was the one that planted in my head that the Queen's "Don't Stop Me Now" song could be a great song for Guardians. And I think she was affronted that her name was not mentioned. She was like, "Why was I not brought up on this?" And
well, if I were her, I would have been affronted. I didn't know that she brought that up to you. Look at
I'm
you
sure that I
stealing her
told you
ideas.
probably. I'm sure I probably told you never, but a lot. And so this is on you for not bringing it up.
Oh yeah,
And
okay.
so exactly. So Jen, have a wonderful time on your next bit of travel. I can't even keep up to where you're going. I'll see you in Pittsburgh.
I can't keep
in a
up
few
with her. I'm
days.
going. I'm a day at a time at this
I'll
point.
see you in Pittsburgh in a few days. And yeah, folks out there, don't forget to travel with those Phoenicians.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.